Well, hello, my name's Stephen and this is John and this is the Blog Rundown where we discuss the latest written reviews from our writing team here at Movie Burner Entertainment. And today we're going to be talking about the Equalizer 2 that came out this year, John, or last year actually, 2018,
last year,
we're into 2019 now.
Yes.
And this was reviewed by our writer D.M. Anderson, John, and this is directed by Antoine Fuqua.
Fuqua,
yeah. And you've seen this film. I've seen the original. I didn't get around to seeing the sequel, John. So, what's your thoughts on this sequel? Was it a worthy sequel?
I thought it was a worthy sequel, yes, Stephen. Did I review this one as well, Stephen? I think I may have reviewed this.
Done it earlier this year, yeah.
A month or two back, get some enjoyment out of this film. Anytime you've got Denzel Washington in a film, Stephen, you've got me in the front line to get into the cinema and watch it, because I just think the man is one of the all-time great actors already.
Certainly, yeah.
Over the last 20 years, the consistency in this man's performances throughout a whole range of genres and just acting performances, he's got an incredible range, and his ability to really transcend sometimes average films and make them better than the sum of their parts is quite remarkable. And in fact, that is what DM or Dave says in his review. It's not quite as good as the original Equalizer, and that is reflected in the Rotten Tomatoes scores, which I will get into as we progress in my little discussion on this film. Isn't quite as good as the original. I think that's purely because of the slightly lukewarm antagonist or main antagonistic figure. I believe it's played by Pedro Pascal. I enjoyed Pedro Pascal in this film. I thought he was good, but he wasn't a patch on the original antagonist, and that did damage the film. But as Dave does say throughout his review, it goes off in slight tangents and various side arcs with a whole host of some interesting, some not so interesting characters. The young guy, I can't remember his name, the young black boy that's obviously nearly succumbing to a life of crime, essentially. He's getting into spray painting and stuff like that. He's dealing around with some wrongings. Denzel's character, I forget his name at the moment, Stephen, but he goes off and tries to bring this boy, take him out of this out of this way of crime in this life, try and make him better. He's an artist. So that was an interesting side arc. That character proved to be quite important as the story progressed on into the end as well, because he had a part to play at the end. But all in all, I thought it was very good. I share many of the sentiments that Dave has outlined in his review. I thought visually it was quite good. I loved the ending, that concept of it taking place in a sort of a hurricane on I think it's his old street. And I enjoyed some of the choreographed moments. He's a very slick character, as this guy. So all in all, I enjoyed it. Not a patch on the original. I thought that was definitely a better film, but it's not. Doesn't mean it's a terrible film either. But Stephen, I thought it was quite good.
Well, I mean, as I said, John, I've not seen the movie. I did see 2014's original film. One of the things I can take from the original movie, and DM does mention this in his review as well, how the television character, because you've got to remember this was based on a television series that starred Edward Woodward. Which I liked that television series, but sometimes when you take a television series, certainly that kind of era, you're talking about the mid-80s to late 80s, it was such a long time ago, and taking that concept and putting it to cinema doesn't work all the time. In that case it did for that original 2014 movie. And as you said, would it have worked without Denzel? Probably not. But that, the man does, even we were talking about just before we came on air, in regards to Man on Fire, that film kind of panned. And
as Dave says, he's taken of the film. So I mean, he's got that in his. If I can clear my throat, Stephen, he's got that in him that he can take sometimes an average film, which is not that great around him, and he will propel up to a higher standard just because of his own singular brilliance. So it's a similar case here, but there is a couple of interesting characters around about who help him and elevating this to a better film than it really should be. The one I've mentioned, the young boy, I can't remember his name, the young teenage guy, and obviously Pedro Pascal, I thought he was okay. He wasn't outstanding as an antagonist by any means, but he was certainly okay, and it propelled the story going forward. I thought it was intriguing the way it went off in tangents, as I did say, and it was quite frenetic from start to finish. So, I did enjoy it, but I will get into those Rotten Tomato scores.
Just a quick question before you do, John. Do you think it's a good enough sequel to warrant a third part? Well, as Dave does say, I don't think Denzel does a lot of sequels anyway, Stephen. I think this is one of the rare occasions that he has went in and done a sequel. So do I think it's good enough to warrant? Probably not on its own. But the strength of the franchise as a whole, maybe they will flesh it out to a trilogy, because they do like their trilogies in Hollywood, Stephen, as we do know. But
Rotten Tomatoes score, Stephen, 51% from the critics. Equalizer 2, 64% score from the audience. You go back to the original Equalizer. No, I've actually brought up the first Equalizer again.
Yeah.
60% from the critics and 76% from the audience score. You can see that it has dipped ever so slightly on the original film. They echo our sentiments. The critics and the audience alike. Still a decent to average affair, but slightly worse than the original film, and that I completely share. Dave's and the critics and the rest of the people rating this scores of this film, their sentiments completely.
Okay, well, we'll just move on to our next film. This was a film that was reviewed by Philip Henry.
Yeah.
We were talking about this the other day, actually, on
Box Office Chat. Stephen. Yeah.
It's Aquaman from last year. It's very strange saying that now, isn't it? Because we've only seen this film about 10 days ago. So this is obviously directed by James Wan. Yeah. Both of us went to see this. I've read Philip's review as well. A lot of the sentiments I totally agree with in regards to the handling of a character, the sort of audience's reception to the character as well, because you've got to remember that Aquaman was a bit of a...
He was a figure of fun.
Yeah, a joke figure, you know. I mean, they've totally redone the costume, the image of the character. You know,
getting Jason Momoa and Stephen's a great first step, because the man is just a towering.
Talking with Denzel there, Jason Momoa is another man that can carry a bit of credibility.
He's got a big towering presence, so that immediately changes the concept and the aesthetics of the character right away. He goes from this fairly weak-looking Bond little imbecile to a big towering. I can't remember where he's from, Jason Momoa. I don't want to put my foot in it, but I think he's got a similar background to the likes of The Rock, where he comes from a warrior culture. He's got Simone. He's got the tattoos and stuff like that. He has got a proper tattoo. I believe he added more in the process of playing this character. So bringing a guy like that, and it fits well with the story, because these are people who are built up around the water, and just it's a way of life, almost like that Disney film from recently. I forget the bloody name of it, Stephen.
Moana.
They're a culture that's built up around about the water, so it's a natural step to take.
Tamura Morrison's done that as well.
Tamura Morrison, there you go again. You're bringing him in. This is a guy. It's his father, and it fits well, because these are people. Their heritage is built up around about the water. So I thoroughly enjoyed that they brought in Jason Momoa. So this isn't the first time he's portrayed the character, Stephen. He did pop up for a short little cameo in Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, and then he also played a big role in the Justice League. One of my favourite things from that film. It wasn't an outstanding film by any means, Justice League, but certainly Jason Momoa coming in, lightening the tone at times, and just his antics.
There is an element of origins in this film, but I like the way they do it. It's not bogged down with
it almost reminded me of what they did with Wonder Woman, Stephen, where you're flashing back to his trials or his training with Christ, I keep forgetting about the name of this guy, Stephen. What's his name, man? It's totally left my mind, but it flashes back anyway to his training when he's a young teenager, and then it'll go forward into the story, and it's a great way of tackling the backstories and just training, showing you how he's became and grew into the character that we see in the current day, without bogging down the tone or the pacing of the film. It's a fantastic way to handle it, and they did do it well in the Wonder Woman 2. Slightly different though. I think they dedicated the first 10, 15, 20 minutes of Wonder Woman to her training or growing up. This very much started, obviously, a flashback of him as a young baby. Then it went on to the adult Arthur, and then it went back and shot little snippets and showed you how he became who he was. I think it was Vulko, Stephen, was
a young
the
boy.
character.
William
Dafoe, Vulko. So I liked the way they tackled that aspect of the film. Didn't bog it down any with lengthy exposition or training sequences. They just went back, shot little flashback sequences, and then allowed us to go right back into the story at hand. So that was one thing I did enjoy. Another thing I enjoyed, for the most part, Stephen, was the visuals, the aesthetics of this film. James Wan has got a particular style, even the one-shot continuous action sequence with Black Manta. I liked the way that continued right round about the rooftops. That was a fantastic moment. Overall, the visuals I liked. I did say in Box Office Chat, though, that first 10 minutes, the flashback sequence with Nicole Kidman, just didn't, there's something about it was off for me. It wasn't the de-aging or the CG, it was just the movements and just the way she was taking down the Atlantean guards. It just felt slightly off, but for the most part I thought they nailed the visuals in this film. Something I didn't mention on Box Office Chat was sometimes you forgot they were underwater. You know, it was that's because they were speaking clearly. Yeah, Steve. It was like a bit SpongeBob SquarePants for me. You know, I think sometimes you forget they're underwater. Just look at the hair. The Black Manta
costume for me kind of put me off.
Yeah.
As I said the other day,
Rocky
it was like the robot in Rocky 4, just with those big bug eyes. It's staying true to the character. If you actually look at the comics, it's very true.
I didn't mind the Black Manta character, Stephen.
No, it's fine,
as he does say, is it Philip that reviewed this one?
Yep.
Yeah, as Philip does say, he's absolutely right. That character's essentially just coming in when the film's starting to maybe slow down a little bit, and it's just he's coming in to inject a bit of action and stuff like that, and just a different feel to the story, because obviously it's a prodigal son, a different take on the sort of a King Arthur story where he's coming back from the land into the sea to reclaim what is rightfully his. Obviously with the trident, that's like Excalibur in this case. So it was interesting just to see that different take, this different character. It's got a grievance with him. Obviously he was involved in the death of his father, so that was cool. I liked it for the most part. I'm a big fan of James Wan anyway, Stephen. Big fan of The Conjuring. What that guy did, he took these obscure ghost hunters and paranormal investigators from the 1970s, took these obscure hauntings, transformed them into a multi-million pound, multi-million dollar franchise. So for him to take that, it's just the next natural step for him is to move on to big blockbusters, and I thought he handled himself very well. No surprise, Stephen, that he's starting to go into the production or the producing side of things. He's got a production company. I think he will be the next Kevin Feige. He may even be to DC Warner Brothers what Kevin Feige is to Marvel. Yeah,
certainly. And I'll tell you something, John, I think Aquaman's up there with Wonder Woman.
As
far as DC films go, I think they're on the right direction once again, you know, and I hope it continues, because I really do want to see them succeed. They've had a rocky road over the last 3 or 4 years with some of their selection, and not so much directors, but their pacing and their tone at times has been a little too dark.
And that was because of the executives, Warner Brothers, meddling, and they've changed all the top guys.
If you want to see any sort of dark toned DC stuff, just watch The Dark Knight trilogy.
Go back to exactly. Christopher Nolan's take on the
nails it. You don't have to regurgitate it, you know.
And I really do think they're on the road to recovery, Stephen. I think Wonder Woman 1982, I think it's called.
84,
84. I always forget the bloody name of that film. I think that will be a hit again, because there's just something about that character. Gal Gadot isn't an outstanding actress by any means, but she's very good in that role, and Chris Pine comes in and supports her very well, and he's going to be back. But also Shazam as well. We were discussing that before we came on. I think that is going to be a real sleeper hit. That just the tone of it, the difference just from the rest of the DC films, it just looks very funny. It looks perfectly cast. It's an interesting concept. This young boy turning into a superhero at the click of a shout, the shout of his Shazam. So I think that will be a hit as well. So all the signs are pointing to DC getting it right. I really liked this review, incidentally, Stephen. I thought
it was a good review.
He nailed it. Just that it was almost like Avatar-esque in terms of just getting into these amazing visually aesthetic surroundings. That moment they drive in don't drive in, the swimming. And that
some pace as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and that aquatic vessel. When they go in there, and it's amazing. It reminded me of Wakanda. When they go into Wakanda and the Black Panther. So all in all, really enjoyed the film. I'm gibbering on, Stephen.
That's okay. We're going to move on to our final film this week anyway,
John. I've been into coffee before we come on here, Stephen.
And there's another one from 2018. It's The Predator. This was a Blu-ray review by D.M. Anderson. And this was directed by Shane Black, as we know, who appeared in the first movie.
Yes.
And it was written by Fred Decker and Shane Black. Now, both of us have saw this movie, John. I was a big fan of the 87 original. Predator 2, I can't stand. That was the one with Danny Glover, who I love Danny Glover, but this film was just missing Arnold Schwarzenegger, to be honest with you. I don't think Danny Glover was a big enough star to appear in the sequel, and the story was a bit of a regurgitation of the original. Here, D.M. Anderson actually says that this is his favourite out of the sequels, and I've got to tend to agree with him. Although it's not one of my favourite films, as far as Predator sequels go, it is the best of a bad lot.
Well, when you're dealing with the likes of Alien versus Predator, Stephen, that should be something you're looking to accomplish at the absolute minimum. But as you said, Stephen, the original Predator is an iconic film. It's impossible to better it, really. It's really like the Aliens films. The first two Aliens films, you're never going to better them. You'd be as well given up. It's almost like Star Wars as well. The first 2 or 3 Star Wars films are just they stand the test of time. It's very difficult to eclipse what they did in those films, and it's the same here. But I think this is the best sequel to date. I think DM actually says at one point in his review he can't understand the poor response from critics and audiences alike. Well, I said in my review, because I actually reviewed this one as well, Stephen, a couple of months back. I said in my review it's pretty clear why the critics didn't go on board with this film, and it was because of the Shane Black controversy. Obviously he cast an old friend in the film who had some nefarious backgrounds. He was a sexual offender, or a sex offender, and that really did affect this film's critical response. The critics were never going to get on board with this just purely because of that alone. The audience, I don't quite know why the audience didn't get on board with it. Maybe they're very liberal minded as well. They didn't like the fact there was a sex offender. Olivia Munn, incidentally, was absolutely correct to come out and mention that she wanted the guy's scenes taken out of the film after it became revealed that he was involved in these antics.
This was all prior to its release.
It was all prior to the release. She was absolutely right.
Take a hit, you know.
Yeah, she was right, Stephen, to get that out. You wouldn't want to work with someone or have that milieu artistic, what you've done in the film. So she was correct. But in terms of the audiences, I think it's probably, as you said, Stephen, just people who are big fans, who are invested in this franchise, just didn't get on board with the vision of Shane Black. Yeah. They're wanting the remake of the original Predator, something at that standard. And as I did say, you cannot top the original because it's iconic. You've got Arnie. I
think, Arnold Schwarzenegger carries that film.
Exactly.
But Carol Weathers as well.
Carol Weathers.
But the character of the Predator as well in the 1987 release was such a shock to see. You know, that camouflage, the way it changed like a chameleon was a bit of a novelty.
It was a fresh,
factor. You know,
a fresh concept.
You'd never seen that before.
And you actually said that at the time, Stephen, of this film's release. It's like, how far can you really stretch this technology? There's only so much you can do with the concept of invisibility, and before it becomes a boring concept, and tires out. But I did enjoy this film. I enjoyed the pacing. As Dave does say, it's very frenetic from start to finish. It never really slows down at any point. It doesn't become bogged down at any point. The characters are mostly enjoyable and quite likeable. The Loonies, the self-titled Loonies, I enjoyed them. There's a whole host of people in there, most notably Keegan-Michael Kay, who I think is a very, very funny man, even off the screen. He is extremely funny in this film. We've also got the likes of Alfie Allen, obviously, of Theon Greyjoy, fame from the likes of Game of Thrones. Son of Keith Allen, very funny man himself. So that group of Loonies, they were very funny. But I think, again, the fact that there was a guy with Tourette's in there, and they were kind of doing jokes based around about the Tourette's syndrome, that's not going to connect well with the liberal critics, so that's another reason they were down on this film. If I had to have one criticism, it would be the leading man prowess, if you'd like, of Boyd Holbrook. I don't think he's quite the man to lead a film of this standard. No. He's no Arnold Schwarzenegger. It wasn't bad, but he's just not got that gravitas, that presence to really read the film. Really liked Jacob Tremblay though as a young autistic son. I thought he was outstanding, one of the best things. I said that in my review. Probably the standout character with the most development throughout the film. The Predators, enjoyed the concept of a smaller Predator, the bigger Predator. CG was a little bit crap when we went into the bigger territory, the bigger Predator concept at the end, but that moment where the Predator wakes up in the lab at the beginning of the film, and he just wrecks the shot, man. He just takes out 5, 6, 7, 8 people in the space of about 2 minutes. That was just mesmerising to watch, and it was stunningly shot, the choreography and stuff.
It was a great intro, wasn't it?
Yeah. So all in all, I enjoyed the characters, I enjoyed the story for the most part. I think you get the balance right with little Easter eggs and references to the original Predator films. I think it actually says in my review, I might not have done it, may have been someone else, but it was almost like a combination of the first two Predator films, where you've got the jungle setting at the beginning, it goes into the city, and then it moves back into the jungle. So Shane Black's the right guy, as Dave does say, to tackle this film. He's got that great balance of dialogue, comedy and action. He knows how to get it right. He was involved and invested in this franchise anyway, and I thought he'd done a great job of meshing it all together. Just lacked a couple of little things, but all in all, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought, as I said at the beginning, I thought it was the best of, not a bad lot, but certainly the best of the sequels. Certainly absolutely. Not a patch on the original, but there you are. But that just brings us to the end of this week's blog rundown. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us, and we will be back again tomorrow with the Force Friday show.